at Sharp Cheddar Green Bay.
What?
With football and beer.
The land on the hill.
Cheers, boys.
Fuck the Bears.
Crack your beers.
Oh my God!
So stay sharp.
Go Pack, go.
Hey, Packers Nation. Welcome back to another episode of Sharp Cheddar Green Bay, your most drunken podcast that you listen to, especially after this week. Go give us a follow on Twitter and Instagram at Sharp Cheddar GB and on YouTube at Sharp Cheddar Green Bay. So, like I said, we are your drunken best friends, and after this week, we really need a beer, so crack them, boys.
Cheers. Hank, are you we're a Packers Nation podcast, not a Cheesehead Nation podcast?
We cover the gamut.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah. Yeah, so unfortunately, let's get into it. After our first loss of the season, always stings a little bit. You know, you always have that slight hope of going 19-0, like I may have mentioned on last week's episode. So now that that dream is dead, let's recap the shit show that was the Buccaneers game. Omar, you got any stats for us to cheer us up?
Not that are going to cheer us up, but I mean, Aaron Rodgers has thrown exactly 3 pick sixes in his entire career, and 2 of them have happened in Tampa.
That's why I freaked out and didn't know what to do with myself.
Yeah, that was nuts. I knew that the number was low, but I didn't know it was 3 ever, including the one from last Sunday.
Tom Brady's already thrown 2 this season, hasn't he?
And thank God for Aaron's hustle, because he prevented a second in that game.
Oh, that lasted one play. I'd rather have him not prevent it than score. I thought that was a dislocated shoulder. Like, that's fucking it. Here we go again. Like, God.
Yeah, but I love his hustle.
Jesus came down from heaven to show his humanity to mankind, and so does Aaron Rodgers. Every once in a while, he has to show that he's a human as well. So, that's what that is.
I don't know, man. I think that they were just not a good matchup for us this past week. I mean, they got their 2 turnovers. So last week I said that, they're not going to win this game unless they get more than 1 turnover. And, we had not turned the ball once. They got 2, and they ran away with it. I don't know what it was, man, whether it was Bakhtiari going down or whether the pick 6 really did just throw the entire team off, but there was something off about the.
I think we just lost all the that we had in the first quarter,
Yeah, I mean, Aaron Rodgers talked about it today, and he was like, if I would have hit Big Dog Mercedes Lewis on that pass, I don't know if you guys remember, I think that would have changed a lot. That was right after they put up those 14 points. That was going to get us to about midfield. We don't hit that, we punt, and then they score. I think that play kind of turned it over. I was surprised, though.
Right before half. I mean,
between Amos, I don't know how he just can't cover Rob Gronkowski. Like, he is slow, man. And Amos got beat. I think Will Redmond got beat. Like, what is going on, man? And I don't know, for those of you out there, if you can't see it, but my name this week is Axe Pettin, because I do believe Mike Pettin should be fired. I said it after the 49ers game last year. There's so many better defense coordinators out there. I don't know. This is crazy, man.
I mean, we're going to talk about – I just dropped my phone. We're going to talk about bigger implications, but what really sucks and, is sour is that everyone's like, oh, how you feeling after the Tom Brady beatdowns? He didn't even play that well. We gave him 14 points. Yeah. I mean, that's what's kind of hard to swallow. Hate losing.
He still put up 24 more after that.
Well, Ronald Jones kind of ran all over us. Godwin and Evans didn't have really good games. It was Gronk.
What happened to our defense? We didn't have any sacks. There's no penetration.
No. Dude, our defense was atrocious. And especially that side of the field where Kevin King should have been. I mean, Jackson. I remember when we drafted Josh.
We were all pumped.
I was really excited about that. because he led all NCAA football in picks that year. I mean, he made the Iowa defense something actually respectable. And then he fell to us in the second round. I remember Matt and I were on a plane to Chicago where we went and met Devontae Adams. It was fucking sweet. But, yeah, we were on the flight. And I remember I was watching the draft, and I'm like, oh, fuck yeah, we got Josh Jackson. This is going to be the best secondary we've ever had. I was wrong. That was really, really bad.
He was supposed to – I mean, I was hoping he was going to be one of our players that had that leap this year, and obviously Sunday was not any indication of that happening, unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean, it was almost like it was almost like the team expected, like based on how easily the earlier wins had come, that was just going to be the case all year. And with how quickly we started against them, we got out to that pretty easy 10-point lead, got the ball back. And then I think once they took the wind out of our sails, we just had no idea how to come back from that. So that is one thing that worries me with the Matt LaFleur's amazing start to his career is he can't come back once we're down in a bad way. I mean, all of the losses are by like 20 points.
Yeah,
and here's another not good stat. Whatever.
No, we don't that for you.
So since Rodgers came into the league, we have played exactly 5 games where the opposing defense has held us to the same like yards, rushing yards, pass yards, everything that the Bucs held us to this past week. And we have won exactly one of those games. And that was the Bears week 1 last year where we won 10-3. Like we averaged 8 points in those games. Like that is, we got to find a way to play better against tough defenses.
I mean, well, if we would have drafted a wide receiver, we didn't draft a quarterback, a running back, and a tight end who won't play. We could have had a wide receiver, corner, and something.
What do you
else.
mean? AJ Dillon finally got his carries, Matt. You know.
Yeah, him and Tim Boyle got the snaps too. Yeah, it was great to see that.
Yeah.
Our whole line just crumbled like a fucking crumbly blue cheese. It just fucking fell over. Aaron Rodgers on the fucking ground after every goddamn fucking play.
Yeah, so
unacceptable.
On that note, why don't we move it into the second quarter? Because Joe, I think that you're starting to drift into what applications here.
Before we drift into the second quarter, Hank, you wanted to say something, but I was going to say, what can we do a little Ndamukong Suh hate minute quick before we go into bigger implications?
Oh, yes, let's definitely do it.
Go for it. Go on a rant.
I mean, I don't got a rant. I just fucking hate the guy. He's dirty.
Yeah, I went on my rant at the bar. I'm not feeling that same type of energy because he is literally like I don't understand. Like I don't hate people. Omar loves people getting hurt in the NFL. I don't think that's a thing. But Ndamukong Suh is the one player in the NFL who I truly believe is a piece of shit. I believe morally he doesn't give a fuck. His frozen leg shit where he stepped on Rodgers' calf and then he didn't know. Who doesn't fucking know that? Are you dumb? How do you not know you're feeling a leg in whatever temperature? He does this shit intentionally. Fuck this guy. We should have done what the replacements did and just thrown a ball right at his fucking head, man.
Yeah, he does it repeatedly, so I'm getting real sick of him like playing stupid and pretending that, oh, I didn't realize what was happening, because he does it all the time.
There were multiple years earlier in his career where like he was repeatedly voted the dirtiest player in the NFL. Like this has gone beyond just like speculation of hate teams that are losing. Like even when he was on the dog shit Detroit Lions and they weren't doing anything, people were still saying he's dirty as hell. So yeah.
Did you guys see that this like I don't know if this was on someone's Twitter or something today that Aaron Rodgers like texted him before the game?
So I literally texted you guys this. It was on Pat McAfee.
What was that all about?
Yeah, he was saying he texted Ndamukong Suh before the game of like, hey, let's talk. And then Ndamukong Suh said like, meet me after the bus or something. So Rodgers like, all right, I don't know if that means fight or something. He's like, all right, see you after the game. And they just didn't talk. He was like, yeah, I know we're not going to be friends or anything, but I wanted 3 minutes. Me getting off my chest while I need to say him getting it off and like, let's move on. We're both older guys in the league. Let's go. I don't know what that would have accomplished except like go fuck yourself. All right, go fuck
Yeah.
yourself. All right,
Yeah.
cool, great. Like I don't know what that accomplished.
I mean, he had the blatant late hit on him and like a couple other ones that were very shady and should have been called. Not that
All
it
right.
makes a difference, but
Snapping the chalk line. We're moving to the second quarter here. Whistle is blown. All right. Is this cause for concern, Hank?
No, we always suck coming out of the bye week for some reason.
why is
so? I don't know why it is. It shouldn't be the case, but for some reason it always has been. So, and like I said, I think that especially with some of the younger guys on the team, I think that everyone was kind of expecting things to just go way too smoothly this year. So you heard it from multiple guys in the locker room this week saying like, yeah, that was a real kick in the ass. Like we needed a wake up call. And it kind of bothers me with some of the coaching that we did need a wake up call. I think that in coming out of these bye weeks, our coaches need to be better about preparing the guys and making sure that if we're having success, we don't get cocky and don't need that kind of wake up call. But hopefully I'm optimistic that it is the kick in the ass they need to address some of those problems.
Will G.
Yeah.
I mean, if you talk about like coming off the bye, we were like, oh, great. We got a couple guys back. We got Kenny Clark. We got Devontae Adams. Whatever those first two passes were, I don't know who's at fault there. Not the start off the bye from the injuries we wanted from those guys. That's for fucking sure. But it looks like it's going to be one of those situations where we're just not going to show up to like 1 to 2, hopefully not 3 games on the road this year. Like last year, we couldn't win in the state of California. It looked like a completely different team. Matt LaFleur doesn't know how to come back from that deficit that like you guys were talking about, which fucking sucks. But
So I would say we've always kind of sucked in the state of Florida too. We've had some rough games. We beat them, but the Bengals and the Dolphins. I don't remember if you remember the fake spike game. We had to do a fucking fake spike to Devontae to get close there, and like the Dolphins were dog shit that year. The Bengals have been dog shit. Like maybe it's just too hot there, but I don't know if we should be concerned. I think the defense should have always been. It's always a concern. There's 2 plays where we literally weren't lining up against their slot receiver, and they threw a 3-yard pass. They were wide open. I mean, it's on the tape. If you watch the tape of the Niners game, you had to see like we made no adjustments. So at what point is LaFleur like, dude, can you make adjustments in a game or not? Because I'm assuming LaFleur being a new head coach, he probably only handles the offense. It's his comfort zone. He's probably like pet and let it go, which is what McCarthy's MO was. You're seeing you can't do that. Come on.
I'm not so sure that part's true. I mean, there were so many games last year, and that I think that the defense initially let teams just run all over. Well, not run, but like, you know, they were passing, they were getting yards, they were racking up points, and then the Pettin defense kind of clamped down in the second half. So I'm not sure that part is true. I am cautiously with Hank here. I think every single year, a really, really good team suffers a blowout loss to, you know, what ultimately winds up being an inferior team. Now, like last year, the Baltimore Ravens got their asses beat in by the Browns, like 25-40, and then did not lose another game the rest of the season until the playoffs. And then, obviously, you know, that didn't end the way that they wanted to. But 2 years ago, the Patriots, who won the Super Bowl, got their asses handed to them by the Titans 34-10, like mid-season. So I think these kinds of things happen. It is going to happen eventually to, I think, every team. Maybe not to the extent that it happened to the Packers. But I'm really just hoping that this doesn't turn into another 2015 scenario. I don't know if you guys remember, like we were 6-0, had the bye week, and then came back and played the Broncos. And we could only rack up like 77 yards of offense or something like that. Like that. And then after that game, we won 4 of 10 or 4 of 10. So
one of my one of my hopes as to why it won't be like that is because of how new LaFleur is. and because of how I think the seat is getting a little toasty for your boy Pet and Matt. And so I think that they know more than like McCarthy, who'd been entrenched in the system for so long. He was like way too comfortable, and we're going to get to him in a few minutes. But I think that LaFleur hasn't done enough to like rest on his laurels yet. So I think that hopefully for him too, it's making him kind of reevaluate how he approaches these big games. And hopefully we can right the ship, obviously, before the playoffs come. The only main concern that I have right now is about Bakhtiari. I think when he came out of that game, I mean, that left side of the line was useless. And obviously LaFleur,
what do we know so far? Let's talk about
LaFleur said it doesn't seem serious, but who knows if that's no time off, if that's 3 weeks off, if that's he'll be back for the playoffs. You just never know what a vague statement like.
Yeah, if we don't figure out our O-line depth and that other side of the field opposite Jair Alexander, then we've got a legit problem. Like,
well, I assume before the game you'll put Elton Jenkins at tackle, but I don't think you could do that mid-game. So if we know Bakhtiari's out, you probably just throw that in there again.
No, I mean, I think the offensive line's performance is a combination of that and the loss of momentum and Tampa Bay's legitimate defense rushing us. But yeah, that's something we got to figure out. I mean, I don't want to take away any credit from LaFleur. I like the guy. He's been an outstanding start. And, I think we continue to give him credit. But, he's getting a lot of questions from the media this week. And, like, he has to address, like, how to keep a tempo up or, like you're saying, adjust in the game when our defense is almost getting called for 12 men on the field, or we just can't find any rhythm on offense when we're down by a score or two. Something he obviously has to address. I mean, am I pissed? Yeah, I was very pissed at the bar.
I didn't notice.
But am I worried? Like, no. And another thing I wanted to say before we jump into half and looking forward is, like, the amount of hate that I get for, like, when the Packers play bad, or, like, your fucking, like, buddy's fucking cousin will text me and be like, oh, like, fucking Aaron Rodgers is done, huh? Like, a new era in Green Bay. He's like, no, dude, shut the fuck up and, like, pay attention to your shitty fucking own team wherever you're from.
Yeah, I had a Saints fan texting me after the game talking shit, and I was like, we literally just beat you guys.
Dude, I had my fucking boss sent me an email about something really important, and then at the end of the email, he's like, by the way, what the hell happened with Rodgers?
I mean, when you're the Green Bay Packers, you get a lot of visibility, high profile, so can't hate that. Last thing I'll say about Tampa Bay is they got to come through Lambeau in the playoffs if they want it again. So,
yeah,
hopefully.
All right, let's move into halftime, boys. As always, we're going to start with our shout-outs. Let's start with Johnsonville. Joe, you want to take this one?
Don't we start with a shot, Omar? Come on.
Do we start with the shot? All right, let's start with the shot. Hold on. I'm doing Grand Marnier again.
Disgusting, dude.
Weird.
I don't even look at that. Yeah.
We may have lost
tequila,
but
I'm not losing the trail. I'm staying with the peach schnapps, Barton, regardless of loss. Keep the superstitions alive. Matt, what about you? What kind of shot are you taking at half?
A little swig of beer, man. A little Harvest Blue Moon.
Okay. It sounds really weak, but
weak.
Cheers.
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 As weak as almost leaving the bar early during the game? What's weaker?
I'm sorry that my Pack got the best of me on Sunday, but halftime shout-outs. Guys, the team even lost even though we got after it for breakfast on Sunday. Had some breakfast brats. Those freaking beer and cheddar ones are still great. So Johnsonville Brats, the best, the only brat in the game, the official, unofficial sponsor and bratwurst of the Sharp Cheddar podcast.
Yep.
Absolutely.
We're going to go with Diageo, as always. Our best friends who make Rumplemans, or at least, own Rumplemans. Another reason that we leave the bar in a state that makes our wives and girlfriends pissed off every Sunday. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm drinking a little Spotted Cow right now, so I'll give a shout out to New Glarus.
And I'll shout out
in
Hamilton.
an election year too. Interesting.
Ooh. I'll shout out Hamilton's, the bar and grill that we go to. We talk about bar tabs, rumplements, and they even got us some doggy pads to help us with the water
Right,
that we normally spill. So appreciate you putting up with us. See you guys
in
on
case
Sunday.
Joe has any accidents.
That's right.
He did.
Yeah, we showed up to Hammy's and we had our entire tables covered in doggy pads and a doggy pad on the ground. So, I mean, that tells you how much
Hey,
get into.
As shitty as the second quarter and on was, and how bad my hangover was yesterday, I had a great time at the bar. We were playing a bunch of euchre beforehand. Good vibes for the most part. It was pretty quiet at the bar because of COVID.
Literally the worst person to play euchre with, Joe. Just throwing it out there.
All right, so we haven't done this in a few weeks, but we're bringing it back. So we're going to do a lightning round. So what do you think the biggest upset of this upcoming week is going to be? Matt, I'm going to start with you.
Put me last, please. Sorry.
All right.
I have no idea.
Yeah,
I don't
you're
really care.
Schedule, Omar.
I thought we were talking about last week, in which case I was going to say
so did I. Yeah.
On the schedule, it definitely said last week. So I'm sticking with last week. Us definitely should kick some Tampa ass, but failed to live up to our potential last week. So it'll be okay because we're going to come back and steamroll the boys down in Texas.
I'll go Panthers over Saints, or Washington football team over the Cowboys.
Wow. I'll go spread their ball, man.
Cards over Seahawks.
I'll go Cincinnati over Cleveland.
Okay. All right.
Who's Seattle play?
The Cards.
Yeah,
they're gonna lose. There we go.
Omar, you tell us what your algorithm shows for the
I don't have an algorithm based one this week. Mine's just based on gut, but I'm going Vegas over Tampa. I think that based on
I don't think that's an upset though. Vegas.
Yeah, I don't think that's an upset either. Vegas might be the favorite.
No, it's Tampa Bay -3. Yeah, and that was as of 4 o'clock this afternoon.
Seattle's going down too. Their defense is trash this year. Kyler to DeAndre Hopkins is going to light them up.
What did we talk about next? Because we need to talk about the Bears at some point in time this season, boys. We don't play them for a month or so, but
I know. Seems so late. Have both the games very late in the season.
Joe. All right, with that, why don't we crack them, boys? Let's get it third quarter.
By the way, we never really said what we're drinking. I got a little lukewarm Miller latte here.
I started with Sacro Modelo, but
Spotted Cow.
Harvest Blue Moon.
I'm on to Natty Bow.
Gotcha.
All right, so third quarter. Let's preview this next game. Matt, what are your expectations? What are your initial thoughts here?
I thought we were doing McCarthy third quarter, but I'm expecting us to absolutely smoke the Texans. I think Bakhtiari is not going to play, but I think we could have a whole week of practice to kind of prepare for that. J.J. Watt's on the opposite side. Their defense is one of the worst literally in the league. I think they're bottom 5 all categories. I'm assuming Omar's going to tell us more about that pretty soon, his Omar stats. But I'll beat it with just using the good old brain and what I've seen. They're bottom 5 in the entire league. Our defense, it's going to be a game for them to kind of show up. The Texans still have a very legitimate offense, so show up.
Yeah. Well,
go ahead.
I've already lost my whole Rodgers assassination tour, but I mean, I don't know. The Texans have a shitty record, fired their coach, but they almost beat the undefeated Titans, guys. I mean, I don't think there's nothing, no slouch. It's going to be tough.
Yeah, I mean, they're nothing to scoff at, but I think that after last week's game, I think that Rodgers is going to come out with that fire under his ass that we saw in some of the earlier games this year. And I'm expecting big things from the offense this week. Defense, like you said, I think it's their chance to show that they can be legitimate. I don't know if I'm predicting a lockdown performance, but I think we're definitely going to get something better than last time. I think that in the last one, they were really hampered by the fact that they were basically on the field the entire second quarter of that game. So I think that if Rodgers is able to control the tempo a little bit more throughout the game this week, I think the defense is going to benefit just by virtue of not being on the field as much.
So, Joe, you touched on their performances against the Titans last week, and that's something that a lot of people that I've been reading about have been saying as well. The Titans' defense is actually worse than ours.
Yeah, they're really bad.
Their offense is fucking amazing, but their defense, they've been allowing more rushing and pass yards.
So what I'm hearing is that this week it's about the fucking defense. Is Pettin's ass on the line, and can we show up? Let's go.
I mean, I think so, but fortunately, we match up way better with Houston than we did with Tampa. I mean, for one thing, what is our weakness on defense for the most part, aside from last week? It's our run defense. And Houston really struggles to run the ball. They've been averaging 86 yards a game.
Who's even their running back these days? Jesus.
David Johnson.
Yeah, it's David Johnson, man.
Yeah.
And he's only averaging 57 yards a game. So
is it 57?
It's 57.
Do you want to fact check yourself?
No.
Nope. Is that the mean or the median?
That's the mean.
Okay.
So they can't run the ball, but surprisingly, and this actually freaked me out a little bit. So this year they are averaging more passing yards a game than they did last year with DeAndre Hopkins. And I'm sure that's a function of the fact that they can't run the ball at all. But I think this is going to be a pretty good test of our secondary. I mean, Will Fuller's loud.
Sure.
Yeah, Matt, what do you think?
Brandon Cooks and Randall Cobb, baby.
Randall Cobb. They have Randall Cobb. Bring him back. Randall fucking Cobb.
I mean,
woo!
The Texans are who they are. Their record is what it is, but they've had a tough go at it, guys. They've had to play the Ravens, the Chiefs, the Steelers, and the Titans. I mean, that is brutal, dude. That's a brutal schedule.
But they also lost to the Vikings.
Yeah. I'll flip it around. You guys are talking about the defense, and I like that. I agree. I'll flip it around, though, and say kind of what's at stake is obviously LaFleur has never lost back-to-back games. We need to get the offensive back in rhythm. We got to get, Devontae back from the injury and bye, cooking and rolling again. Can't lose the momentum like we did last week. That's kind of what's at stake on the offensive side, at least in my mind.
Not only do we need Devontae cooking, but aside from him, nobody caught the ball last week. So we really need. Yeah, I know.
You know who didn't catch the ball?
Still have faith in you, dude. But you might want to catch the ball before running with it. So
just want to make sure the listeners knew that
one catch.
St. Brown did not catch the ball last week.
Correct, but he wasn't the only one. A lot of our other guys weren't catching the ball either, and the offense was basically, could Aaron get the ball into Devontae's hands? And that offense isn't going to go take you very far. So, we really need someone back. It obviously sucks that up to this point we haven't had Lazard and Devontae on the field for much of the same time.
Yeah.
But we really need to right the ship this week because, like you compared it to the 2015 season, this is really where that is determined, is if after that crushing loss coming out of the bye, can you fix it?
And we have to go, or the Vikings rather, come to Green Bay afterwards. That is not as a concerning game as I thought before. But the Texans is another road game, back-to-back road games. All right, you just lost terribly on the road. You got to go back on the road. Another huge test. That's another storyline. The road games. Fuck.
So on a more positive note, I'm actually really excited for this game. So I remember before the season.
Are you excited, Omar? I'm excited.
This is one of the games that I was most looking forward to, and like the past 2 times that we have played the Titans has been like just awesome games. I mean, the first time
Texans.
12, we went to Houston.
We don't play the Titans till later in the season, Omar. But yeah,
Texans, whatever, you know what I mean. So, yeah, the past 2 times we played the Texans have just been awesome games. So, 2012, we went into Houston. They were 5-0. We were 2-3, just coming off the Fail Mary game, and just lit them up, 42-24 or something like that. Yeah, 42-24. 2016, we beat them as part of the Run the Table campaign. Like, I think this should be, for all intents and purposes, at least a fun game to watch.
Hashtag Christina stats on those, right? Because those aren't your stats. They sound correct. You didn't question yourself. Those were good, Omar.
Oh
yeah. I think we should light them up offensively. Yeah, their defense is really, really, really bad. So if you can't recover against this team, like, then I think next week when we talk about concerns, it would be a lot different conversation.
Yeah, dude. Their defense is allowing 177 yards a game. Like, that is
way more than that. You mean pass yards?
Wait, no.
No, that is rush yards.
Oh, rush yards. Okay. Yeah, you said yards. Okay.
Yeah, we want to like
no
half
more
make a
stat.
bet on the podcast again and then forget about it and not have it be valid, or
It's fucking crazy. I'll take under 177 for the Packers, Omar.
No, I'm not. Why would you take that? Why would you not want Aaron Jones to have 200 yards rushing?
He's going to have 200 receiving. We're going to throw for 600. That's what's going to happen.
All right, boys. What are your predictions for this game? Joe, I'm going to start with you.
oh man, I don't have any predictions per se. I just hope that we get back in form, that I don't have to leave at halftime to sit outside and sulk, and a W. A W is my prediction. Any which way you want to get it done.
Whatever that was. All right, Hank.
What was that?
I'm gonna go with 34-20. So get the offense cooking a little bit. Maybe
I would
not.
take like 2-0. I'd take 3 to fucking 0.
I mean, I'd still be pretty concerned if our offense only puts up 3 points this week. So I'm going to go stick with 34-20. I think that the offense gets it cooking a little bit. Not quite as crazy as some of the 40-plus games, but I think we're kind of solidly in control. Defense obviously steps it up compared to last week, but I don't know if I'm expecting them to bring the house this week. So I'm until we can get some more production out of the Smith Bros, because they've been, with the exception of Z in the week before the bye week, they've been non-existent. So I think 34-20.
Yeah. I'll go 42-28, but that all comes down to, if we run the ball well, we can't put up 42 points, right? Because we'll control the clock. And then if we don't, I just think we'll air it out, and it'll just be a high-scoring contest. Frankly, I don't think our defense could stop that pass attack, as you said, unless we get to the quarterback. If we put the pressure we did on the Texans that we did last week, they'll score easily 4 to 5 touchdowns. We'll still win, but they'll put up a lot of points.
I think that the Texans' offensive line is a lot weaker than the Bucs' offensive line, but to your point, I think it's going to be 28-21. I think so. The Texans have been putting up an average of 24 points. I think that's getting brought up a little bit by that Titans game because of the fact that the Titans' defense is not very good. Yeah, I'm going to go not necessarily close, but closer than we might like. I'm going to go 28-21.
Yeah, no, I think that I agree with you, Omar.
All right, thanks, Joe. Love it. All right, fourth quarter. Let's talk about Mike McCarthy, Matt.
Okay.
This is a bonus quarter. This is a little bonus content from your sharp.
We typically play 4 quarters in a football game, but there's a lot of anonymous sources on the Cowboys players today that came out and said they don't really respect McCarthy and think he's the right coach after what, 5-6 games already? Like, dude, that's bad,
I mean,
man.
they suck, dude.
But they're like everyone's saying the exact same stuff that he did with Green Bay. Like their routes are like very basic. The offense is very basic. They needed someone like Dak or Aaron Rodgers to kind of like make it happen. He's hurt, so you saw what happened in the game last week. They put up 10 points against the Cardinals without Chandler Jones, which is horrible. So yeah, I'm surprised it took the Packers as long to fire him as it did. I'm surprised we still have Mike Pettin as a coach, but go to Dallas. Have fun, man.
So, Matt, you just said something that's really interesting, and it just made me think. So, for years, we were saying that the problem in Green Bay was Mike McCarthy's system only worked with, like, elite receivers, right?
Yeah.
And can anybody here argue that Dallas doesn't have arguably the best receiving core in the league? Like, every receiver they have would be a number one receiver on just about any other team, and they're still not getting it done. So that tells me that the defensive side of the ball over McCarthy's tenure has changed a ton, and he just refused to change. If it's the same kind of scheme that he's running where, you're just sending the receivers out and saying, all right, get open, and they're not getting open, if that group of receivers isn't getting open, I'm amazed that we were able to win 10 games a season.
Yeah, I mean, I'll say that he might want to keep his resume up to date, but I don't want to speak too poorly of anyone who's got a road named after them in Green Bay, Wisconsin.
Again, huh?
Yeah.
But no,
that was 10
years
ago.
I don't fucking whatever. I don't want to get again the part two McCarthy.
I know you wish I mean, everybody wishes we had more trophies, but
yeah, I'm not gonna get a full deep dive into the McCarthy Munster point two. I mean, I don't know what these insider info tips are about from the locker room. I mean, Dak went down and their team is dog shit. So like, yeah, I'd be pissed off too. I'd want some answers. So. And I don't give a shit. Fire him. I don't care what happens to him now.
I don't know. I think it's really interesting though that he came out of retirement saying that he was going to be this offensive guru again, and it just it doesn't seem to be happening down there in arguably the best offensive system he should have. I mean, even Dak's numbers, like they're not good until garbage time.
Yeah, they turned the ball over a lot.
Yeah.
Though Andy Dalton really shined last night, didn't he?
Are turnovers the coach's fault, or is that more of an execution on the players?
That's definitely an execution on the players, but
yeah.
I think it's coaches. I think like if you watch the game, Zeke should have been subbed out, or it's just in practice. How much are you like going over that and going over like protecting the ball drills? Who's to say they do or don't?
Dude,
not
there's
throwing
no
into
way
those
that they could
coverages.
pull out. Zeke is a $90 million running back. There's no way they're just going to pull him out and be like, all right, we're subbing.
Well, I was also going to say
Dallas.
I was also going to say that Dallas has got to be a unique place to coach, because I don't think there's an owner in the league who's as involved as Jerry Jones. So even as the coach, you're not really the coach on all aspects.
Guys, we're spending way too much time on a Dallas Cowboys team that sucks.
I know, but see, that's why we like to talk about them, because they suck.
Yeah. Also, Joe, we're going to make you happy right now. Why don't we discuss the Bears a little bit?
I was going to say we'll hate on them next week.
Or you don't want to hate on them this week? Do you like them this week, Joe?
No, we're out of the division. We're on the road trip. We'll get back to the division, later.
Your camera looks like you're on a road trip right now.
They don't need any discussion right now. Let them lose the games that they're bound to lose.
I think they're on a bye week this week, aren't they? Oh, no, they're not on a bye this week. Who are they playing?
Rams. Yeah.
That's a big game. That is a
Rams. Yeah, go Rams.
I will. All I'll say is that they are finding a way to win, and we play them the day after Thanksgiving or some shit like that, weekend of Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
We got a whole month to hate on them, guys. Let's not get ahead of ourselves here.
Okay.
All right. All right. If Joe wants to save the hate, we can save the hate. All right.
Cool. Take us home then, Joe.
I
Yeah.
think that about wraps us up. Joe, you want to take us home?
Sure. Yeah. Saving the Bears hate for the rest of this month and November. A little different vibe this week after the loss, but Packers are still king of the North. NFC North still got to come through Lambeau. We'll take all the hate from everybody around the league. I don't give a shit about that hate. And we got to get up for a Texans road trip, boys. So we're going to be doing our usual thing. Little breakfast brat at my place.
Dude, the game's at 1 o'clock. There's no way in hell we're going to be able to do a breakfast brat this week.
Oh yeah, that'd be real early.
Yeah, not with that attitude, Omar.
Yeah, come on, Omar.
I'm going to go out Saturday night. I'm not going to be able to get up that early.
Yeah, I forgot about that. Anyways, we'll be doing our thing at Hammy's. We encourage all of our listeners to also make the trek into DC for that. Other than that, guys, everyone knows the strength of the team is related to the cheddar. So stay sharp. Go Pack Go.
Pack Go.
Go, Pat, go.